30 seconds until I get into the podcast. Yesterday, I had the privilege of sitting down with the person who I believe is the strongest teenager the world has ever seen. Pound for pound, of course. This is Elliott Sykes, and on the screen we're seeing his recent performance at the 2024 Powerlifting World Championships. In the sub-junior under 74 kilogram class, he broke the world record by 110 kilograms. This podcast is an exciting one. We are going to ask Elliott whether he believes he is the strongest pound for pound kid the world has ever seen. We are going to learn his tips and tricks to getting to the top of powerlifting. We are going to learn how he got such an incredible squat. And we are going to learn about his insane future plans. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Goodbye. Okay, I think we are live.
Yeah.
And I am with Elliott Sykes, a big supporter of the Powerlifting Nation channel. And I have my first question, which is, do you think that you are the strongest teenager that has ever lived?
What?
That's a big question.
Starting off strong. That has ever lived. Well, there's a lot of ways that you can go against that, right? Like, I would say, you've heard the Perk versus Jesus debate, right? Where it's pound for pound. Like, you have Nonso up there, right? So I don't want to say I'm stronger than Nonso, because dude. He just went for the all-time world record deadlift. I mean, obviously, he's not a teenager anymore. He's 20 now, right?
I think he's still a teenager for
he's still my so I don't want to say I'm stronger than him, but I'd say at the same time, I don't think I could ever do what he does, but I don't think he could ever do what I do. I
don't think anyone could do what you do. You've got the highest teen dots out of any teenager with 560 dots. You have the highest GL points. This is in powerlifting, untested, tested, any kind of bar. You also have the highest GL points.
Higher than Theo Maddox? Really?
Yeah.
What's he at?
When he was 19.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I think, but when I said strongest, I don't mean strongest powerlifter. I mean strongest ever.
Oh, do you think in terms of just even outside of powerlifting, Oh, that's tough. I don't know, dude, because you see some of those rugby players or football players. I feel like they could toss me.
But that's a different thing. That's
What do you mean? In terms of strongest in terms of in terms of the reps, or in terms of
I think strongest is in just who can create the most, I guess, power in a short space of time.
Okay.
Because
the most
I guess strong men, you could look at strong men. I think powerlifters are stronger than strongman. That's strongmen. That's quite controversial. But just because they implement a lot of strength endurance, but someone like Jesus, if you're talking about who can make the most power.
No, I agree with that. I would say strongmen are more athletic than powerlifters. That's what I would say, which is really interesting to think about, because you see them and they're huge. You got all this fat on them, and you're these people aren't more athletic than you look at Taylor Atwood or someone who's all lean and ripped. You're that guy looks like he's more athletic. But honestly, I mean, Taylor plays football, so maybe there's that. But currently, they have more variance in their movements. They have it's just, I would say it's a more athletic sport. But if we're going pure power, I don't know, maybe pound for pound, but there's obviously people who can produce more force than me in terms of absolute strength, for sure.
Yeah. But pound for pound, I mean, I would personally say that you are or if not 18-year-old, I would guess, and that's pretty cool. How does that feel to be up there with the strongest teenagers to have ever walked this planet?
Dude,
pound for pound?
Well, it's honestly crazy because I've said this before. Like, you look at like someone like Jack Reynolds, who is literally competitively benching with like the open 83s, at like 17, and like it's just like ridiculous. Like, he's putting up like close to 800 kilos at that age. But it's even crazier to me that like in my eyes, I'm not only was I better than him at Worlds, but I think right now, in my opinion, I'm outpacing him. This isn't to call shots, but like
that's the thing. I don't know if Jack would like that. He's gonna smash his arm a little bit harder next time. When I see him do that, I feel sorry for his arm. But
dude, it hurts. It hurts. Yeah. He's intense, dude. He's intense. I have a lot of respect for him. But like, I just like, you see some like the monsters that are in these classes, and it's crazy to me that like not only am I up there, but in a lot of people's eyes, I'm like at the top of it, which is, I mean, it's just so crazy. Like, I remember when I remember looking at like Ilya Marichev's record when I was first getting into or when I was first going for like all-time world record for pound coefficient for sub juniors, and I was like, dude, who the hell is this dude?
Yeah,
he's
some Russian guy.
Well, I mean, it's just ridiculous. He was like he competed like every month. Like, I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. You know, he said this on another pod, he tore both his hamstrings.
Did he?
Back in like, I think like April. Like
wow.
March. Yeah. And then he just almost basically deadlifted the same as the 74 world record, and it went like, it got called. I don't know why, but I mean, like, whatever. Yeah. He has the strength for it. It's very obvious.
That's crazy. I was wondering, wait, are you allowed to wear knee sleeves while doing a deadlift?
You are. There's just no real point, I don't think. Like, I don't think there's ever been a real point for wearing knee sleeves. Like, I can't see. I know I saw in Kodal, King of the Lifts, like, comment section that he said it could be to hide soft knees. I don't think and it that way, because I think it's something he's always done. And even with the knee sleeves on, I don't think his lockout was like, it did not look at all. But I mean, it is what it is. I am curious what the call was for. They said it wasn't for now, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, I like it personally because it means that you're going to have to go above and beyond that, so you can like push the limits even further.
That's 100% how I feel. I would have preferred they counted the deadlift, honestly, because like, one, I think he got it, and two, like, it gives me something to shoot for. Like, I was hoping he doesn't have another year left in juniors, which is really disappointing to me because I really wanted to go head to head with him. But apparently, he's not even going to be doing Classic Worlds. He's doing Equipped.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Even if he had had another year in junior, he would have gone Equipped because he's going for the world record in Equipped, which is still nuts. I think the dude squats like 800 pounds in the Equipped 74. It's like, okay, you can go for that. Have fun.
Yeah, that's crazy. But we'll get more into like your future ambitions. But let's first start off with your performance at Worlds. So you broke the world record of 700 with a 766 kg total, which was insane because it beat second place by 130 kilograms, which means you probably could have just repped all of the weights for like 5 times and still won, which is, I feel sorry for your competitors. You broke the world record by 110 kilograms, and then you got basically 5 world records. So kind of talk me through like the day and the performance. Were you happy with it? Just.
So I'm not going to say I'm unhappy with my performance, because at the end of the day, like, I still like feel it was a pretty outside, like, there was a tinge of disappointment, but in the moment, like, I didn't feel any sort of disappointment. I was like, dude, that was one of the best feelings I've ever had. Cause I don't know. I've said this a lot. I live for competing. It's like my favorite thing to do in the world. I love to compete. It just gets me so excited because, one, I mean, it just feels natural, man. It feels like I'm in my zone. But then also it shows me what I have left to work on, and it shows me everywhere I can improve. So once I compete, I'm even more excited to keep building. So the day I woke up pretty early, I think like 5 or 6 in the morning. I went actually before I weighed in and did the equipment check and everything. I went to this platform actually, and I took a picture of what it was going to be like when I just wanted to take it in, to not be on there for the first time when I have to squat like 600 or 275 kilo. Like that'd be pretty intimidating.
A world record, opening with the world record. It's crazy.
But it was like, I mean, it was one of the most surreal feelings ever. Like the lights were so bright. You could see the stands. They were completely empty, but like you knew there was going to be people there once you were lifting. Like it was a pretty awesome feeling. So then I went to equipment check, weighed in, was fine. I think I weighed in like 72.7 or something like that. So I'm warming up. I'm feeling nauseous because like I'm like so nervous. I'm so amped. I think
that's me at regional competitions.
No, it's way different. Like I always get nervous for meets. I always do because like like I feel like there's a lot of eyes, especially now. Like I have my following is like quadrupled since Worlds. Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of eyes, especially now. But like Worlds is just different, man. It's just different. Like. Because if you fail on the world stage, everyone's like, "Oh, you don't got what it takes." And I had been saying I'm going to beat the world record for like a solid 1 or 2 years. Like I had made a reel like before I had done my first IPF meet of like me like I did like a squat triple, a double bench long pause, and a deficit deadlift to beat the total world record, and like it was at like an RPE like 6 or 7. And it was like, I was like, I'm going to beat it. And everyone was like, go compete then. And I was like, I'm going to. But you got like, I don't have Worlds till next year. You got to give me some time. So it was like, I've been saying I'm going to do this for so long. And I've been wanting to do this for so long. So if I mess up now, like I was like, you're cooked. You're cooked. Yeah. And there's even more doubt in the next one. But what's it? I had to envision myself hitting the lift to really try and calm down my nerves. My warm-ups moved great. My last warm-up moved great. We go to first squat. The rack height's a little bit too high. I click the rack, and I'm also on my toes during the squat. It was pretty funny, but like still felt super, super easy. We go up 20 kilos, and I fail it. So I look back at this meet, how I did squats, and this is one of the regrets I have is I changed my technique because I was afraid of the depth calls. If you look at my last squat of prep, which was like literally like 3-4 days before the meet, like I'm pretty controlled. If you look at me at Worlds, I basically for the first half I'm pretty controlled, and then I dive bomb it right into the hole. I think depth. And I failed my second one, but even on my third, you can see I actually come up uneven and have to like adjust. Like I think that squat would have moved way faster if I hadn't been so nervous and like changed my tech like that. But that's probably part of the, part of the pressure of Worlds, like the judging. Never been there before, so I'm still happy. I matched my training pretty much exactly. Set the world record by the junior world record by 20 kilos. Obviously got taken later, but whatever. Bench. We move on the bench. I've hit my opener, but like I fail it because I thought I pressed early. So then I just went to re-rack it, but I didn't realize I hadn't pressed early. So they red lighted me for the re-rack command. So we went up anyways. Got those 170. Actually, I was pretty happy with that. My best win in training was 175, but I didn't think I was going to hit that. But honestly, on the day, it felt like I could have. Deadlift is a tough one for me because I was this close. This. Fun fact about that. I was bleeding down my legs for all the deadlifts because the way so we had to cover if you're bleeding, if you bleed on the bar, they won't let you lift. They'll say this is a contamination issue. We won't let you deadlift. Ben had me backstage and he was like coating my leg with baby powder. I was like, don't let it bleed. Don't let it bleed on the bar. But actually, it's gonna be a little gross. I still have the mark from when I got my deadlift at Worlds. It's a bruise. Wow. Yeah. It's pretty.
I'm glad I don't do hook grip. Oh dear. That's not. Wow.
But
that's crazy.
I got that almost got that 312 for that world record, but now we got to set it even higher. So we'll see.
Yeah. So you, like, for me, and I think a lot of powerlifters, they feel the pressure of competing and they struggle to enjoy meet day. And you, I would say, probably you and Nonso, you have the biggest followings in the kind of junior division, and Joe Borenstein, but he competes in the open. And so, like, how do you? So you probably have the most pressure out of everyone. How do you enjoy meet day, and how do you deal with that pressure?
Honestly, I stay off my phone. I stay off my phone when I get into the day of the meet, or like maybe even like the week before the meet. Like, I'm on Instagram so much less. I leave pretty much everyone except like a select few people who are like, if I'm not leaving on someone on delivered, it's because they're there at the meet with me. So I'm like messaging like, where are you? But like everyone else, for the most part, is like, no offense, man, but like I need to lock in. I can't be thinking about my followers right now. I need to think about what I want to do. You know what I mean? Because like at the end of the day, like I love all my followers and all my supporters, and I wouldn't be here without it. But I can't be thinking about them while I'm on the platform, because otherwise, like that's gonna make me fail. If I'm thinking about what are my 20,000 followers gonna think of this squat, like I'm gonna be like, this is what Adam said to me. He said, less thinking, more lifting.
So what do you think about? What do you think about when you're doing like the lift in that 1 minute?
Dude, I completely space out.
Okay.
I completely space out. There's almost no thoughts going through my head. Like I'll have people at my gym like accidentally walk in front of me while I'm lifting. They'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Did I distract you?" I'm like, "Dude, I didn't even notice you were there." Like, I am literally complete. Like my eyes are open, but no one's home. No one's looking anywhere.
Yeah. Is that on your top sets or your back downs as well? Would you say?
Mainly my top sets. It depends on how heavy the back down is. Like I had like a 275 double after my 300 squat today, or not today, but like this last day, and it was like, dude, I'm not thinking about anything. They said like it's a back down, but that's still heavy, man. I think anything that's either top set or anything above like 255, anything above like 255, I'm not paying attention to anything going on in front of me. I'm just lifting.
Yeah. So, after I think it was your final squat, you did your famous "I told you." What were you talking about? Who were you talking to? What did that mean?
Yeah, so a lot of people thought I yelled at the ref. I clarify this every time it's brought up. I would never yell at a meet official. That is so ridiculous. What I was taught in wrestling was don't leave it up to the referee. You leave them no choice but to give you what you want, right? If they call it, that means there is some way they could doubt you. So don't let them doubt you. So never blame the judges, never blame the jury. Like obviously you can be upset, but like, you know, like at the end of the day, you gotta suck it up and do it anyways, right? Like that's how it is. That's how the sport is. It doesn't matter if you're like, oh, I don't agree with this call. Like you gotta do it, right? Because if you're at the meet and you're complaining, they're not gonna just change it for you because you're complaining. You know, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that sucks, man."
Yeah.
But so there was a lot of people in the comment section saying I wasn't gonna total like over like 725 or like 750. Like I wasn't gonna even be able to match my nationals performance, which even nationals for me was also an underperformance. So like to me, it was like, I told you I can hang at the top. You guys think I can't do it at the top? I can do it anywhere, and I will do it anywhere. But I am anytime, any place, man. I take this so serious. I was there before any other raw lifter.
Wow.
And that's with a delayed flight.
Yeah.
I was literally there like a week or more before I competed, because I am not messing with jet lag. I am taking this 100% serious. Like, I fully believe the only thing, this is going to sound crazy, the only thing I think that kept me from like 800 keys, or at least like higher than I got, was attempt selection and like nerves. It wasn't travel, it wasn't anything like that. It was, I had never competed at Worlds before. I think this next Worlds in Costa Rica, I mean, obviously we'll talk about the future later, but I think like I'm going to bring a more experienced and detailed package for everyone.
Yeah, 100%. And then I was wondering, had you left school by the time Worlds rolled around last year?
Yeah. I was out of school.
Okay, because I was wondering, how did people in your school react to you being like so strong?
So like some of them, like every so often to be like, "What the heck, man? That's ridiculous." But like for the most part, like it was like I was treated pretty normally. Like, and I think that's to be expected, right? Like, powerlifting isn't the biggest sport yet, first of all, and second, like I'm just lifting weights. Like I love it. I love it more than anything. But you know, to like a person who doesn't do it, like they don't get it. You know, they don't understand. What it takes. To them, it's just, oh, you can't do other sports, so you lift weights. And it's like, maybe, but that's not why I do it. I did multiple sports before I did weightlifting. And
what were the sports?
I wasn't I wasn't at the level I am at this, but like I wasn't bad at all. Like I was pretty good, but like to me, like it's such a rewarding feeling to hit it on the. It's just so different. It's so different because you do the same thing on and off the platform, but it's just about being able to do it anywhere. And I think that's like the coolest thing ever. Like to be able to, no one can take this away from me. Once you do it at Worlds, no one can take it away from you. Or even when you do it in competition, right? Like to me, it's like, this is my lift and it is to the best standard it can possibly be. I can perform these huge, massive weights that could kill me at the highest level possible to the best standard. And I don't know, it's really powerful to me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So let's go onto your past. So I want to know, first of all, I want to try and get as many secrets out of you as possible, because I want to get to where you are. And also I want to understand, like, why do you think that you are the strongest teen in the world?
Oof. That's a deep question. Why do I think I'm the strongest teen in the world? I think well, one, I have my athletic background, right? So I grew up wrestling and swimming. Obviously there'll be some debate about this. I think those are like two of the most mentally challenging sports that there is ever. You are like, for swimming, you are literally making yourself move in a different point. There's no like, I mean, there's like water polo and like diving and stuff, but like you're trying to move in the most efficient way possible, in a way that like we weren't really designed. Like we're not swimming animals. We don't have gills or flippers, you know, like we're meant to be on the land, right? But like you're moving as fast as possible. You're not breathing for the most part. Like The way my coach had it when we were swimming is the first lap you can breathe once, the second lap you can breathe twice.
What is this, a 50-meter or 25-meter?
In a 50-meter or 25-meter pool?
Yeah.
In a 25-meter pool.
Okay. I was like,
50-meter pool would be a little crazy. No,
yeah.
I don't know about that one.
You just sink at the bottom.
Some people had the no breath 50s, which is crazy. Like I can't do that. No, I was never at that level. I had too much muscle. I need too much oxygen.
So when did you start swimming?
8 years old.
Okay.
I wasn't really good at it until I hit puberty, and then that's when I started wrestling. But like two of the most I think nitty gritty sports that there are, like wrestling, you're like literally trying to like control someone and pin them to the ground. Like obviously that's going to be difficult no matter who it is, right? And I think that helped me a lot with my mental toughness. I think above anything, I'm always looking to improve. Like I am like paranoid about, they call it paralysis by analysis. That it's my biggest weakness, but my biggest strength as well. Because I like every single set, I will rewatch like religiously. Even the bad ones, the good ones, the normal ones, I will watch it and be like, can I improve this in any way, any shape or form? And then also, I think another part of it for mindset is listening, is listening, taking critique and like responding to it, and like surround yourself with people who are smarter than you and listen to people who are smarter than you, because you are not the best at everything. That's reality. Like, I'm the strongest team in the world. I'm still not the best at everything. There are people that are better than me at individual lifts, or people in the juniors and open who are better than me. Like, don't be afraid to ask for advice. From what's it called? From high school nationals to sub-junior worlds, my bench jumped 12.5 keys. Right? So that was like a span of a few months. And that was after my bench had been plateaued since my local meet, which was all the way back in January. So from January to March to January to April, then to September, it was 157.5, 157.5, and then 170.5, and it looks like I had more. So like, but good. But like, the way I improved my bench was I asked people who benched a lot how to help. Like, hey, is there anything I can do to improve my technique? Like, Evan Hawk.
What's his, say that again?
Evan Hawk, you know him?
Recognize his name.
So he's in USAPL. So he's a 75 technically. Dude benches like in training like 222.5, like or more. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And obviously he doesn't have elbow depth rules or anything, but he still benches 500 pounds, man. Like,
oh yeah, I know this guy.
It's like ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think his name's Jack Taylor.
Yeah,
the Brit from Britain.
Yeah, he benches like I saw him double 220 today or something.
Right, and that's after breaking his arm.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I asked them for advice on my bench, and like instantly, boom! And like me and Adam also are always looking for we're trying new stuff. We're taking risks, and we're like, sometimes it doesn't work out the greatest, but sometimes it works out real good. And that was one of the times where it worked out real good. So I'd say take advice from people who are smarter than you, because that's how I've always improved my lifts. I've constantly asked questions. Like, it's annoying to some people how often I'm like, did I do this right? Did I do this right? Did I do this right? Like, just like trail people for as much info as you can, because it is a gift. Powerlifting is a gift. One of the most unique things about powerlifting, I was talking with another dude about this, is that you can ask the best in the world for technical advice, and most of the time they'll reply and give you a genuine answer. Like,
yeah.
Like, if like some random dude in the UFC was to ask Alex Pereira for striking advice, like just some random little kid, like he probably wouldn't answer. Like millions of followers, but like you can literally just Instagram DM them and they'll be like, oh yeah, man, do this, do this, do this. Like,
Yeah.
It is one of the most helpful things ever.
Yeah.
So like take advantage of that for sure. For sure. Obviously do your research and understand why you are doing the things you're doing as well. Don't just do things because you see someone else do it or because someone tells you to do it, but also like, you know, back up your own opinion, make your own opinion, do research, figure out what works, understand the intent. I think that's one of the most important. Understand the intent. If you don't understand why you're doing it, why are you doing it? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I think that's one of the big differences between a lot of other lifters is that like they I mean obviously everyone wants to improve, but I think I almost want to improve to like a detriment of myself. I almost like overthink it. Pretty much every meet and every block I'm like, oh my gosh, this didn't go well. What can I do? And like even when it does go well, I'm like, what can I do to make it better? And obviously everyone thinks those things, but I honestly think I don't know. I think I do it more. You can always improve. You can always improve. You are never at your best.
Yeah. You talked about your mindset, like that mentality that you managed to gain from your swimming and wrestling. How does that translate into your kind of day-to-day like training, that mindset?
Well, because you view it like this, right? Like with wrestling and swimming, I was literally practicing like intense cardio and muscular endurance training, like 5-6 days a week, sometimes twice a day, like some ridiculous like level of like conditioning. And like you take that and you compare it to squatting for like 2 reps, and it's like, all right, like I could do this any day of the week as long as I never have to go back to that ever again. And that's not to say powerlifting is easy. I think powerlifting in that way is easier, but in different ways it's harder, right? Because I view it like this. Like with wrestling and swimming, you can drill, you can do technical work without fatiguing. You can do it anywhere. I feel like there's a lot more ways up. With lifting, there's really only one way up, and it's, you know, get stronger. You know, there's only one dimension in which you can improve. But you have to find as many ways to improve that dimension as possible. And like with wrestling and swimming, you can pretty much always do more in some way. Lifting, you can't always do more. You can't. It can hurt you, or like it's just not productive. So it's a lot more difficult, I think, mentally in some ways. Because like when I also did volleyball. When I did volleyball, I was able to sit back even outside of like playing at school and stuff like that and practicing. I was able to go home and practice on my like patio behind my house for hours. Like I was able to drill and drill and drill. You can't do that with lifting. What am I gonna do? Do like air benching? Like you know, like there's only so much you can do. So it's a different kind of difficult because like you have to not panic. Like if something doesn't go well, you have to analyze it and you have to figure out why it's going bad. But you can't panic and just like throw in whatever. That's why I say intent is important, because if you just do whatever, then like you can injure yourself, you can plateau yourself even worse, you can fatigue yourself even more. Like there's so many different ways. There's only one way up there, but there's so many different approaches to it. Versus in wrestling, swimming, there's a bunch of ways up, and there's usually like a pretty solidly, since the sport's more solidified and been around longer, there's like a decent solid approach towards improving that's like well known. Not really that powerful. Still a pretty new sport.
Yeah, definitely. Shall I tell you a funny story?
Yes.
I had a background in rugby and cross country, and so for me it was all about. So I used to run 5K every day since I was like 12 years old, and that got me to like 7th in London at cross country. And then when I moved into powerlifting, I thought like I need to be working hard. So literally until you told me to listen to other people back in probably like April of this year. I was maxing out for every single lift, for every single session. And it got me. Yeah. It got me
like
to
280.
yeah, it got me to a 280 squat. But after that 280 squat, my back, like I couldn't even cough. Wait, are you? I would cough and it would feel like my ribs were gonna break. Like it was terrible. And then after you told me like to like listen to people who have experience, that was the difference. And now like I'm back, I'm healthy, and I'm managing to progress. So sometimes it's difficult, like going from like a sport where it's all about hard work, and then powerlifting where it's a little bit easier in the training side of things. It's kind of difficult to get that, but you've managed to get that perfectly. And I was wondering, where is that? What about like stuff like nutrition, sleep? How like meticulous are you with those kind of things?
This can branch into the future. So before Worlds, not other than when I was the time difference, not meticulous at all.
Okay.
My sleep was awful. My nutrition is bad, and it's still not that great, but it's better. I, like you could tell, because I was like, I mean, after Worlds, I weighed 155, so like 70 keys. So that was like way under. but now, I mean, you've seen the improvements and strides I've made. I'm sleeping 8 to 9 hours every day. Today, after this podcast, I have a call with, Cedric Kwan.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're getting the big man. Yeah.
So everything. When I say everything is going to be dialed, I mean every little factor. And I can tell you for a fact, if you're not doing those things, I used to take it for granted, right? Like I used to be like willy-nilly about it, right? I think that is the reason I am progressing past these people that were like not neck and neck, but like we're progressing really fast. Like you saw Jack Reynolds jump like 200 kilo to his total in like a year or something ridiculous like that. But now, like, he's went up a weight class, and I think I'm still going to be totaling the same as him, if not more than him. Which is obviously a bold prediction, but I'm very confident that once I get these external strength, that fun fact about that 782.5 I did, my right pec I'm pretty sure is strained. I'm pretty sure I've had a pec strain for at least the past 2 weeks, so I'm going to physical therapy after that. So we're talking about a 782.5. Not too difficult of a total with my deadlift grip. This block wasn't great. I did a different approach. Didn't work. So we're gonna go back to the basics and what worked and what got me that 290 for 4 with strapless. We're gonna go back to that. I don't know why I changed it. It was silly of me. And if that doesn't work, we'll go to mixed, see what we can do there. But I'm pretty confident I'll get my grip down. My pec strain, once I go to physio, get that all handled. I'm already benching 172.5, probably like an 8, maybe a 7. So, but that was that's 2.5 below my gym training max from back then. That was like 10. That's the best bench block I ever had. So we're talking about that. And I haven't started working with my nutritionist. That weekend, I got a probably combined hour of 4 hours of sleep this weekend because I had to pick up my dad from the airport. And I had to drive my mom to the ER. She's okay. She's great. Very strong woman. She had an infected gallbladder and had to get it removed. But she's all fine now. She's upstairs recovering right now, actually. I'm hoping she recovers well. But I'm sure she'll be fine. But so I got like no sleep, right? Like 4 or 5 hours. And I put up that. What do you think's going to happen when I dial in my sleep again? I'm eating more and I'm going to be, my goal is to be like, what would this be in kilos? Probably like 76, 77 plus in the off season, build muscle, and that now I'm working with a nutritionist, that's still a lot less than most people cut. Like, I think Joe Bornstein literally cut from like 80 kilos or something. But I mean, because he was going up to 83 and then he cut back down for one last meet at 75. Like, he was cutting this amount. I'm only cutting 3 to 4 kilos or like 2 to 3 kilos at that point, right? Before high school nationals, I accidentally cut like 5 and I was fine. So
yeah,
now I'm doing it with an actual nutritionist.
Yeah.
Gonna blow it up, dude. I'm going to blow it up. That's my prediction. I'm very, very excited for what the future holds. And I think all these people, my goal, you see, this next year of powerlifting is going to be the biggest year of powerlifting we've ever seen. I think. Dylan Johnson, Jack Reynolds, Chase Gravitt, and that's on the sub-junior scene. That's all. Yeah. Those 3 names are all just on the sub-junior scene. That's ridiculous. You got the 83s being catapulted into new heights, right? Obviously. Like, I think it's almost a guarantee that someone's going to total 900 or at least close to it this year.
100%.
Right? 93s, Gavin's looking to make strides. Kaiko is finally uninjured. Amir Rastev is looking crazy. Got Gustav, obviously, reigning champ. Crazy, crazy talent, all putting in the work. I'm sure they will probably, because of the 83s, start accelerating as well. Obviously, you have Perk. I don't even need to say anything about him. The 66s are now going to be approaching, if not at 800. And if we anything from watching the 83s, when someone has a big total jump like that, everyone gets a big total jump like that.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying it'll be the current talents, but like, have you seen Jonathan Garcia's training when he's 2 weeks in and he's just the reserve? He squatted like 270. What?
Yeah. It's crazy.
So I think we're going to see an explosion in all the divisions. My goal isn't necessarily to be the best out of everyone this year. My goal isn't to get to the top this year. My goal is to outpace. Everyone's going to improve an insane amount. I want to improve the most. It doesn't mean just because I improve the most doesn't mean I be at the top. But I want to continue to improve with each year and accelerate. I don't want to get really good and then slow down a little bit and keep pace, you know? I want to speed up and speed up and speed up and speed up. I want to continue to build. You thought 766 as a sub-junior was crazy? Wait till you see what I do as my first year as a junior. What do you think is going to happen? You know, for me, that is my goal. I want to make every improvement I can to outpace. And I think that's my goal. It isn't to be the best yet because I have so much time. I have 5.5. I have till 2030 till I'm out of juniors.
2030.
Yeah, wow. I'm 2006. Year I turned.
Wow.
I have so much time.
Yeah.
But I just want to outpace. And if I do what I want to do this year, I think next year I want to breach into the opens. For me, the way I view it, there is only one way up for me. Perk is obviously the best in the country. And behind him, I think I'm second for 74s. In order to beat the rest of the best at Worlds, I have to go through the pound-for-pound best lifter in the world. I want to do that so bad. And I think Perk is he's become less scary to me. When he totaled 851, it was one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in my life. Because I looked at his squat, his bench, and his deadlift, and I was like, this dude can literally has no limit. He has so much left. And he huge improvements to them. What did he total in training? Like 870? Like something ridiculous. But to me, that shows that he has a limit. You know, that like it takes the mystique out of it. So I want to do everything I can to chase that. And that's not out of like, this isn't, when I say that about another lifter, like I've said about Ilya Marichev, I want to bury his junior total world record. Like I want to bury it. That's not me dissing the lifter. That's me giving my props, because for me, I will always shoot as high as I can. If I'm shooting for you, that means, in my opinion, you are the most prestigious target that I can go for. Like the reason I want to beat these people is because of the immense talent that they possess. Like, we have never seen someone as pound for pound strong as Austin Perkins. We have never seen a sub-junior or young lifter bencher as good as Jack Reynolds. Or even before me, we've never seen a sub-junior as good as Jack Reynolds. We've never seen like a young talented lifter entering the juniors as good as Joe Borenstein. You know, like we've never seen lifters that are like taking these to new heights. I want to take that thing that they've done and I want to do it better. Not because I think I'm better than them, but because it inspires me to be like, if they can do it, why can't I? And that's like, everyone's got 4 limbs, everyone's got a brain, everyone's got muscle. If they can do it, I can do it too. And that's my mentality, is like, if we're gonna do it, I want to do it, and I want to do it better. That's my goal. That's my goal.
Yeah, no, I love that, and 100%. I think we are nowhere near like our human potential in powerlifting, and we're just seeing like people are hitting like another gear every single year. Like, you would have become the world champion back in 2023. I'm pretty sure. As in the lifts that you're doing now, you could have become world champion. And now we're seeing everyone leveling up. And yeah, we're definitely going to see some crazy things going into 2025. It's just going to be insane. But are you planning on staying in the 74s until you beat Austin? Or what's your plan?
I would like to stay in the 74. My goal would be to beat Austin Perkins before I go. Originally, I didn't have that goal, because I kind of had doubt, you know? I was like, how long is this going to take? I feel like he's never going to stop progressing. And I feel like I'm not going to progress fast enough. But I feel like since Worlds, I've shown myself what I'm capable of doing. And after Worlds, I've shown myself what I'm capable of even more. And it's like, I don't want to back down. I think this is what I would say before, when I wanted to go up a weight class instead of fighting Perk. I would say, I think my legacy is more than just beating Austin Perkins. You know what I mean? I don't want to stay in the 74 so long chasing Austin Perkins and then finally beat him and that be all I achieve in the sport. You know, because like, there's so much I want to do.
Yeah.
So, but the way I feel now, I feel like I can beat Perk and then keep going.
Yeah.
I want to keep going.
You're just gonna step over him, and no, but I think it's very possible. I mean, like, your deadlift doesn't look far away, your squat doesn't look far away, and your bench. Yeah, it's the bench, but still, like, that is something that, like, I think it is very possible within the next few years, which is just insane to say. And yeah, like, this is a message to anyone who is trying to get close to like Elliott's level. Like, it's a wake up call. Elliott, like, so Cedric, if you don't know, is he's a nutritionist. He's working with just all of the top people now. He's got Gel, he's got Gustav, he's got Emil, he's got a lot of people, and it just shows everyone is leveling up. You're going to need these things. You need your nutrition on point to get to this level. And yeah, so I'm going to ask about Burnout which is a big thing in powerlifting. I've heard your answer about it before, but what's your what's going to be your method to continue this kind of progress and not get burnt out? What do you think?
So I had my era where I almost burned out from powerlifting.
Oh yeah, you told me. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So it was like my break from competing, right? And I was like on the verge of quitting because I was like, man, I feel like I'm not going to be able to live up to my next performance. For me, the fact that I've already been through it, much younger than most, I burnt out at 16 years old. That's ridiculous. Who burns out at 16 years old, right? Because I put up such a great performance. And honestly, even still, I don't know if I've matched that performance in my eyes yet. At that meet, I think I could have dotted like something close to like 540, 535 at 16. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know.
Talk us through those numbers. The ones you did.
It was 260, 155, and it was, what was the last one? It was 272. So, and that 260 and that 272.5, conservative. I feel like I could have stacked like at least like 10 kilos on each of those. And I weighed in fully clothed. I had a hoodie on, a shirt on, jeans.
That's crazy.
Like, I think if I had gone all out on that squat and deadlift, and if I had not weighed in fully clothed, I could have done some ridiculous stuff like that. I don't know why I weighed in fully clothed. That was so dumb. Like, I'm like one of my biggest regrets to this day. But like, that's crazy to me. But I realized, like, it doesn't matter necessarily like what you necessarily do at a meet. Like, it does. But ultimately, when you're as young as I am, and as young as a lot of the lifters probably watching this will be, you have so much time. All a meet is showing you what you can improve at the top level of execution. It's showing you what you need to do. If your nutrition isn't dialed in, if your training isn't dialed in, if your sleep isn't dialed in, if every little thing isn't dialed in, what are you burning out for? You still have room to improve, you know? There's still things you could be doing. That's my opinion. Like, and I think it's a very real thing to burn out, but I think it's because a lot of these lifters, I feel like, are accelerating at such a high level, but don't necessarily have all their variables in check. And once they get to that high level, they start to realize, like, oh, I haven't been doing everything I can. And they don't necessarily know where to start. Because, like, for me, like, I've been catapulted, and for people who competed only in the IPF this year, like, so, like, Worlds, I'm top 18. Out of that top 18, I can guarantee you almost every single one of those lifters has at least some form of dialed-in nutrition. Probably all of them are dialing in on sleep in some sort of way. And I wasn't like that yet. So that should, like, I feel like that happens to a lot of people. They'll get catapulted to the next level before they're necessarily ready for it. Like, I've been lifting for now close to like 4 years. Like what? And I'm up here. It's like the reason I almost burnt out at that age was because I didn't realize that I'd get to that level that quickly. And I didn't realize that I need to do these things if I'm going to keep improving. But now I have that realization. If you don't do all those things, you're going to burn out because you're going to feel frustrated and you're going to feel like there's no way up, but you're not doing everything you can. And if you are doing everything you can and you're not progressing, it's about patience, honestly. And obviously I just had my whole spiel about how I want to keep accelerating. But part of accelerating is patience in a way, right? Like, not everything's going to come together all at once. For example, my first meet in the IPF after my 2-year hiatus or so, like something ridiculous, like a year and a half or something close to that. of not competing. After that, I PR'd my total by, I think, like only 7.5 kilos while getting heavier, you know? So, like, I had 260, 155, and then 272 all the way back then at 16. And then I did 275, 157, and 265. So it was like, or something around that manner. So it was like, okay, you barely progress, you know, like I felt like I didn't progress at all. But then you look at the end of the year on my not best performance ever. I PR'd my total from that meet. I added over 70 kilos. I added 71 kilos from January to September in 8 months. While staying basically the same exact weight.
Yeah.
And that's going from a local meet to a world's meet.
Yeah.
So just because you have one bad performance or one bad day, your strength, you need to realize, just because your strength is lower right now, your strength's not gone, right? Like, if you worked years to build up your total, one bad week of nutrition or sleep, or like one off week of training, doesn't mean you can't hit your best weights anymore. Like, that's not how it works, right? Like, you still can do it. You just need to set the conditions right. You need patience. Like, for this meet, this is a spoiler. Everyone's saying I'm gonna total like 800. You know what's crazy about that? I'm gonna total 795 at most.
Okay.
I'm not going for 800. I'm going for 795 at most. You want to know why that is?
Why?
Because it's not the time yet. My pec strained. My deadlift grip isn't set. I need to stack more on squat because that's where perk is the strongest. What does matter right now in my first year of being a junior, in my first competition of being a junior at a local meet, if I hit 800 or not?
Yeah.
Does it? Right?
Yeah.
Like, realistically, like, if I hit 800 at a local meet, yes, it will be crazy. Yes, it will make numbers. But there's still going to be those doubters saying, it's not at Worlds.
Yeah.
So why waste my energy when I can snowball it to Worlds, hit an even bigger total, which I have in mind what total that is, and no one's going to believe me. I partly don't even believe myself because it's just a ridiculous number, which is what I do every year. Like, last year, like, same time, I said I was going to total like 865 at Worlds. So, like, take it with, like, don't take it with a grain of salt. Take it with, like, the whole salt shaker. You know what I mean?
I want to see 1,000 kilograms this year.
yeah.
As a 66.
As a 66. But why worry so much about this meet when I could continue, get everything set right for the biggest meet of the year and just do it there? There's no point. There's really no point. Because, I mean, I'm not going to be setting a world record. I'm not going to be even setting a national record because it's a local meet. So why waste it on this? Why pressure yourself to have the greatest performance when you have so much time? And I think burnout is usually a thing for younger lifters. Dude, you guys have so much time. Do you know when Jurgens started, like, competing?
Yeah, he was like 30, I think.
Yeah, like his late 20s at the youngest, his late 20s, maybe 30. Like, and now he's world champion against one of the most dominant 83s ever. You know, like, and one of the most monstrous deadlifters of all time too, right? Like,
yeah.
If he can start that late and then progress past people who have been doing this, like Russ, I mean, I don't even remember how long Russ has been doing this. Like, forever.
Yeah.
Like, if he can progress past them, why are you starting this young and being like I had a dude the other day DM me and call his 600 total at 83 bad. And I'm like, 600, like, don't get me wrong, you're not winning Worlds with 600. That's not bad, dude. What? You kidding me? You kidding me? Like, that's ridiculous. You need to realize that just progress is never linear. There's so many factors, there's so many externals, and like so many things we just don't understand about how strength training works yet. To like prep yourself as like, I'm not at this point, at this age, at this now. Like Joe Bornstein is the youngest total 800 at 20 years old, right? And I would love to break that by like 2 years and do 800 at 18, which is like, which would have been my goal if I had been able to do it this meet. But I feel like this isn't the meet to do it. And like, even if I had done that, like, what's more impressive, totaling 800 at 18 or totaling like 900 at 20? What's more impressive, right? Like, don't worry about what you're doing now. Worry about setting yourself up to build momentum, to accelerate. And that's why I say acceleration takes patience in terms of burnout, right? Because you're accelerating, right? You're not just going from this to, it's not this to this instantly. It's you're building and you're getting faster. You need to build, you need to accelerate. You're going from a stop to slowly getting faster and slowly progressing more and more. You can't just go from 0 to 100 instantly, right? Like you're not a Tesla, right? You don't have that acceleration rate.
Yeah. So if would you mind sharing that goal for this year?
All for Worlds this year? No one's gonna believe me. You're not gonna believe me. I don't even believe myself, and I've told this to other people. You want to hear the split, or you want me to just say the total, or do you want me to say the split and then the total?
Split.
Split then the total. 340, 200, 360, 900.
Wow.
That's my goal. Where I'm at now is 310, 180, 182-ish, and 330. That's where I think I'm at right now if all the factors are together. And you see why I specify that is all the factors are together. If all of them are together, right? Right now, they're not all together. But the potential is there, right? Which is why I say don't worry about what you're doing at like a local meet or at this age. Because all it takes in powerlifting is one little thing to mess up the whole lift, right? Because powerlifting isn't about being strong in one really big place. Like I can have like my quads could squat 900 pounds. If my back can't handle 400, I'm squatting 400 pounds. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
For my deadlift, I feel like my legs and like the rest of my body, like every part of my body, I feel like, except my grip right now, can deadlift 330 or maybe even more. But my grip is stuck at like 310. So I got to work on that. That's all I need. One thing. If you get that one thing, you can take yourself, like I said, like that's a 20-kilo jump over one difficulty. So if you're plateaued, don't get frustrated. Get mad. Don't get sad. Get mad, right? Don't get burnout. Get angry. You know, look for what that one thing is and do everything you can to fix it. Because it's always just that one thing. Just that one thing keeping you back, you know?
Yeah.
Squat, I think I'm at like probably like 310, maybe 315. And bench, I think I'm at like 180-ish. So like, I think for me to add with gaining better sleep, not only gaining weight, but better nutrition in general, my training's more dialed in now and I actually understand it more. Because RTS they sponsored me and now they have given me like a lifting education on like my programming. So when I said is important, I mean it, which is why I'm going through this course. And now I understand everything that I'm being given and that I'm programmed. Like I understand the importance behind what I'm doing, which is really important. I can't stress that enough. Really, really important. With all those added factors now, that's 17.5 on bench. That's what, like 25 kilos to 30 kilos on squat, and that's 30 kilos on deadlift. And I have the Worlds. I have 8 months.
Yeah. Imagine if you did that.
Little crazy, And I will not blame anyone who says, dude, you're an idiot, you're gonna total like 820. I will not blame anyone who would say that, because it's honestly 100% a possibility. It is 100% a possibility that I don't do any of that and I hit like 310, 180, 320 at Worlds. Like that's such a possibility. Like I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But why worry about what the worst is when you can focus on doing, like, worrying about worst case scenario doesn't matter, right? Like, don't worry about that. Worry about doing everything you can to get as close to that ridiculous number that's in the back of your head. Because everyone has those ridiculous goals in the back of their heads, right? Like, I'm sure you have some crazy goal.
I've got a lot.
Like,
my aim is 900 this year.
Yeah. But like, why stop yourself from having that goal just because you're at a higher level, right? Like, people are going to tell me, you can't progress that fast anymore. You just totaled 7. You're like this at this level. Why not? There's so many things I can change and improve. Why not? If I did it before, why can't I do it again under better circumstances? And even if I don't, who cares? I'll still try and do something great. If I don't hit 900 and I hit like 850, that's still ridiculous. You know, like, even if I fall like 60 kilos short, that would still have been the world record for the Open before Perkins shatters it, obviously. But you know what I mean? Like, why limit yourself? Why?
Yeah.
There's no point. There's no point.
Yeah.
Take a realism. As long as you don't beat yourself up over not hitting, as long as you accept that goal is ridiculous, like, I accept 900 is the most ridiculous thing I've ever said. But as long as I accept that and I keep that in mind when I'm shooting for that goal, and I don't beat myself up over it when I come like 100 kilos short, doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely. And no. By the way, this is all getting clipped on social media for social media. This is definitely. But 900.
You said
Pardon?
I hit 100. You hit 900. I hit 800. I hit 900. Yes.
Yeah. But what keeps you hungry, like motivated? Because I feel like a lot of, like, it shows the fact that when someone levels up in a weight class, everyone else levels up. It shows that a lot of people in powerlifting are very complacent. And they need someone to push them in their weight class and age class to level up. So what is keeping you from, like, just getting complacent? Like, why have you been able to just break the limits?
Because I don't limit my goals. You know what I mean? Like I just said, like, I want to out total people weight classes above me. I want to out squat people weight classes above me. I want to keep, hold on, let me check something. Yeah. I want to keep doing greater and greater things, no matter what the limitations set are. And honestly, a huge thing that I think since joining the IPF that has helped me not burn out is Perkins' existence himself. I was a sub junior, and everyone is comparing me to the best open lifter of all time, pretty much, in terms of men's side, right? Like, the best 74 of all time. Like, I feel like maybe you can argue titles and stuff, but if we're not talking about like GOAT or anything, we're just talking about in terms of pure strength and numbers, right? Like, objectively going to be the hardest to beat out of any 74 or any lifter ever, right? In terms of men's side, because no one has done what he's done before or even close, right? Like, Taylor did 838 at nationals and everyone lost their mind. Perk is probably gonna put up like over 860 at Sheffield.
Yeah.
At least, you know, like, if he did a nationals meet and went all out, who knows what he damn total, like 900 maybe? But like something ridiculous, you know, like crazy numbers. So that keeps me hungry because, like, how can I become complacent when I'm so far behind? I gotta keep working. And then, like, also, like, I just find ways to challenge myself with every way. Like, if I'm once I'm the best in 74, once I'm materializing this. I'm manifesting. Once I'm the best, I'm going to try and be the best at 83. You know who my number one inspiration in powerlifting is?
Joe? Taylor?
I get to Sitco, bro.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I get to Sitco.
Yeah. 21.
Keeps going. She wants to literally conquer every weight class, and that's what I want to be. You know, like I admire that so much because she never ever stopped shooting higher. Like she could have easily just stuck to whatever weight class she wants and just stayed dominant there and been like, oh, I'll rank up. I won't risk losing, and I'll just ramp up world titles here. Instead, she goes, what's going to be the hardest for me to do?
Yeah.
What's going to challenge me the most? What task is there that gives me the highest percentage chance of losing that I can go and do and prove everyone wrong? And I admire that because I think it's hard to get to the top. It's even harder to rule, is what my friends say. But what I think is harder than ruling is conquering. Conquering is the coolest thing I've ever seen done in this sport. And there's really not that many people who have done it. Really, like, if we're being like, who has 3 world records in one weight and 2 and like 3 different weight classes other than like Agatha? I don't really know anyone. Yeah. Who does that? So the fact that only one person has done it shows how impressive it is. And I think that, like, you look in the UFC, this is a connection. Look in the UFC, you see people who have like dominant reigns, but then you see people who have dominant reigns in two weight classes. Like, you know, Amanda Nunes, like multi-weight class world champion, Alex Pereira, multi-weight class world champion. Like, you have people who are conquering. They're doing it everywhere. They're showing they can be the best at any point. Longevity is important, but when you combine longevity with facing new challenges, like, it's different facing up-and-comers in the same weight class and staying comfortable and staying where you are versus challenging yourself against the best of other weight classes. You know what I mean? Like, you're the best in your weight class and you're facing people who are up-and-coming. So you're on the high ground. Make yourself take the low ground and build back up. That's what I admire a lot. I think that's the coolest thing you can do in powerlifting. I think we'll, as the sport progresses, we'll see more and more of that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. That, and I think it's very possible, to be honest. Very, very possible. But that is crazy. I think that how your legacy in the sport. So obviously you said that you want to conquer. Like, how big do you think you could get? Like, you know how Chris Bumstead has 28 million followers on Instagram or something?
Oh, in terms of like popularity? Is that what you're saying? Like,
how much do you care about having like that kind of like just like
star power legacy? So are you talking in terms of like people who are like into the sport and like when they talk about greatest of all time in the sport, like in terms of what they think, or in terms of like how many people know you? You know, like Chris Bumstead, obviously he's the GOAT of the sport, but like he's also the most popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess how much do you care about that? Because you have that potential if you wanted to do that. Like, you could be seen as like one of the strongest, or if not the strongest pound for pound like person we have seen. Like, how much do you care about that kind of legacy?
I care about it a lot. I want to be, obviously everyone wants this. I want to be the greatest ever. Like, it's my goal. Like, it's something that I feel like I have to do. Like, or at least I have to shoot for it. Like, I've been given this opportunity by the people I've been surrounded by God, if you believe in him, by so many things that have happened in my life, whether it's good or bad. Like, these outcomes and these experiences, just fate almost, have shaped me into the person I am and given me the opportunity to try for greatness. And I think it would be disrespectful and taking it for granted to not try and shoot for it. You know what I mean? Like, I have so many people supporting me right now that I'm like, I can't. This is a gift that I've been given and a gift that I have to use. And it's something I love. I've been given the gift to try and become the best at something that I love more than anything, that has changed my life so dramatically and it's for in such a good way, and it's helped me grow in so many ways. And I can't take that opportunity for granted. So when I say I want to be the best, it's not out of me saying like I'm better than these other people or anything like that. I have no idea if I'll become the best, but I have to try, you know, because I've been given the opportunity. I have to go for it. And I think most people in my position or in even the open position, like Perk, like I'm sure most people understand that in terms of like, we've been given such an opportunity to do something we love so much for a living and to try and be the best at it at the highest level. And it's just such a gift. I think most athletes at a high level can agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. Let's well, I said the podcast would be 1 hour and a half. We've covered probably half of what I wanted to cover, which is a good thing. But so how long would you want to go on for? What do you say?
If you'd like to, I have my call with Cedric at 5:30, so I still have a solid 3.5 hours. Obviously, we're not going to go that long, but I'm saying, if you want to keep going, I'm completely open to it. I have no real limitations, so up to you, man.
Okay, I'll just see if we can get through these questions. I've got to go in half an hour, so yeah. But so let's talk about social media a little bit. So obviously you've got 20,000 followers, which is massive. What tips would you give to the powerlifting community for marketing themselves on social media specifically? And I guess how big do you think your social media could grow?
In terms of marketing yourself, interact with your fans, man. You know, don't be one of those dudes who just kind of ignores their comments, doesn't really talk to anyone. They're like, oh, I'm up here, I'm trying to be an influencer, you know, you're a powerlifter, okay? You're not Tom Brady. Relax, you're not Messi, bring yourself down a level. Talk to people, because you're, at the end of the day, you are a person, you know? People want to get to know you. And the best experience I've had in powerlifting is making friends through the sport, through Instagram, through social media, or just through competing. It's the greatest thing ever. And just so happens, it's great for building a following, a network, make connections, you know, get to know people, interact with your fan base. And obviously, this is really important. Post consistently. If you can't just post one big video of you lifting a lot and expect it to blow up. That's not how it works. You know, people need to know who you are. They need to know what you represent. Know who you are as a person, you know? I talk to pretty much everyone that DMs me, or I try my best to reply to, outside of maybe some silly DMs I get that are a little bit ridiculous, and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna entertain that. You're just being a little bit weird. But I try my best to pretty much respond and be personable and be friendly to everyone, because why not, right? These are all people who are passionate about the same thing as you. So why not share that joy, you know? I love talking to people about powerlifting. I could talk about it for days on end. So why not talk about it with other people who like powerlifting? You know? In terms of how big I could get, dude, I have no idea. I would have if you came to me at the beginning of 2024 and said, "Oh, by the way, man, end of the year, it was a little bit after the end of the year, but like basically end of the year, you're gonna have 20,000 followers." I would have been like, "You're tripping, dude. What?" I was, I think at like 4,000 at the beginning, if even at the beginning of 2024. I don't even know what happened, dude. What all I remember is I got shouted out before high school nationals, and all of a sudden my following starts building. And like I'm getting up there, and then Worlds hits, and I catapult to like 16,000. It's like, all right, what? It was so crazy. So I have no idea how big I can get. All I know is that like I am so like I've had people DM me about videos I posted on TikTok before I was even powerlifting. Like I think I took the videos down now. When I was 14, I didn't even weight lift yet. I was doing like hang cleans with like a 20-pound bar in my basement. Like I didn't know how to do a hang clean. I wasn't into Olympic weightlifting at all. I was basically just reverse curling it. It was like the most ridiculous thing ever. But I have people who have been following me since those videos. And it's like, dude, that's insane. Like, that's crazy. Here's a crazy example too. You know Mike, who runs Future of Powerlifting?
Yeah.
You know, his last powerlifting meet was my first one ever.
Oh, wow. That's
Isn't that crazy? And now he's huge in the powerlifting space. Like, basically just as big as me. And I like, look how, like, just such a small community, so tight knit, that all give back to each other. And it just gives such an opportunity for growth. Like, I have no idea what could happen in this next year. Like, and I don't want to set any goals for it, because honestly, I'm grateful to even be at 20,000. I was grateful when I hit 10,000. Like, think about it. That's that many people watching what I do, which is just lift weights. You're interested, like they're interested in that. Like, I could not ask for more. And obviously, I'm going to be so happy if I continue to grow. And obviously that's my goal, because I want to make this a living, along with like outside of that, like I plan to do like physical therapy and like have a career on the side. But like I have the potential to make my passion, my biggest passion, my like a source of income and like a source of like living. Like, I can do this to survive, really. Like, how many people can say that? Not that many. And like it's just so crazy to me that people are willing to give me that opportunity by just following and like watching what I do. It's just so crazy, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So it's clear on social media you can gain like a massive amount of following from like just posting clips. Like, you saw, like, do you see Jesus Oliveira's Sheffield squat? It got like 22 million views or something, maybe even like 50 million. But like, how do you think, because there's clearly like an interest in squat, bench, deadlift, like there's such a low barriers to entry to the sport. Like, there's so many people that do the sport, and my aim is to like help grow the sport, try and help grow the sport. But how do you think that powerlifting can like translate that like social media kind of hype into like people watching the meets and like more money in like powerlifting?
Sorry, go ahead, continue.
Oh no, and just everything. How do you think you would grow the sport?
You have to hype up the battles, man. That's what people want to see. Because like powerlifting meets are cool for sure, and I watch them a good bit. But what makes them competitive, what makes them interesting to watch to the people who watch sports, right? Like, no one wants to just see people PR. Like, like on Instagram, yes, but you're not gonna watch a meet just to watch some like random people PR, right? Like, generally, like, I personally think it's like the most amazing thing in the world. I watch it all the time. But to the average person who doesn't powerlift, they're not gonna watch that. You need to hype up the battles. That's what gets people going. Because the average person watches like swimming or football or soccer or football again, you know, sorry. You know, like sports like that where it's direct competition to competition. I gotta say, as much as I love watching people PR and just being support, like I'm like, you heard my voice at Worlds, right? My lungs were gone by the time I got on the platform because I had literally been screaming for like almost every single lifter. Like people heard me through the live stream and were like texting me like, dude, like, why are you so loud? but like when you see a battle, like a real close, intense battle, like Nathaniel Messiah and Brandon Jones.
Yeah.
It is, right? The coolest thing ever. Because you have two people going head to head, and you know both of those guys want it so bad. They want it more than anything. And seeing that battle of wills, and it's just one of the most cool things you can see. And to the average person, that's what's going to make it more interesting. Is if you, on Instagram, you don't just like show the lifter and show what they're hitting, but you show who's their competition, who they're trying to go against. The reason I think powerlifting recently has blown up is because there's battles. There's people fighting. When Jurens beat Russ, that was huge. It was explosive. No one expected it. And everyone, I'm telling you, everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. Everyone loves a battle. Everyone loves an underdog. Loves an upset. And everyone loves a champion, right? But it's not as interesting when the champion's just like blowing everyone out of the water. Obviously, there's always going to be people who are blowing people out of the water, you know? That's just how it works. Outliers and so.
Yeah.
But the more battles this sport sees, the more it's going to grow. Like the 83s right now, that battle has so much hype around it. When you saw Jack Reynolds, Dylan Johnson, and Jacob Belloc coming into Sub-Junior Worlds, that battle had probably more hype around it than my lifting did. You know? Like, it was there was so much hype around it. And, like, I remember one of the first battle I really saw was, which is crazy, that I first watched live was Dylan Johnson versus Jack Reynolds. I watched it through YouTube on the live stream, and I was like, dude, that was crazy. And then the first I watched live, like in person, was Eleni versus Mava for the 57 Sub-Juniors. Was also an awesome, like I was so hyped. Like just some of the coolest things I've ever watched. And I think what's important for growing the sport is making it interesting to not only the people who are in the sport, but people outside of it. Because not every person who watches UFC does MMA. Not every person who watches football, American or European, plays football, you know? Like, you need to make it interesting to people who don't watch it or who don't do it. And if those battles, I think everyone will find those battles interesting. I think everyone can.
Yeah.
So if you hype up those lifters, if you run it down and say, this lifter is hitting this lifter is hitting this, and like it's going to be a battle of this, like break down the advantages, the disadvantages, like make sure you emphasize how close this could be. It makes you have to watch the meet. Because otherwise you're not going to get to see the battle, you know? You can't just look at Instagram and see what they're hitting. You have to see it happen as it goes, because it's a battle of attempts. It's a battle of missed lifts, you know? Like, people are going to watch that live. So I think that's really important, is the battles. I think really highlighting each lifter's individual strengths and weaknesses and, like, the advantages and disadvantages, and showing, like, this is a competition, you know? It's a competitive sport. It's mano y mano, you know? I think it's great.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I'm glad that you said that you want to go and conquer everyone, because I would say the one problem with Austin Perkins, and it's not his fault, but because he wins so easily, it's not as interesting. However, the fact that he could do something like Bob Matthews and like go into the 83s, but as a 74.1 kilograms. And that would be like a crazy battle. So like, yeah, I definitely think that battles are the way to go. You know, do you know Isaiah, I think it's McIntosh on Instagram? He's from Trinidad. Yeah, he's big into powerlifting. He was asking about a junior Sheffield, and that would be big.
I've heard a lot of people saying that. I think it would be really cool. My only issue is that, like, now with the point in juniors we're getting, like, these people are going to be competitive in the open, right? So, like, it's like a lot of these juniors are like able to reach into the open. So I think now it would be a little early. I think we need to wait for the sport to level out, because right now we're in the middle of such a drastic shift, right? Like, you have Joe Bornstein, Austin Nikolai, hopefully me, Nonso Chenye. You have like so many of these huge athletes in the juniors that are like knocking on the door of the open. So it's like, and Timur against the greatest arguably the greatest powerlifter of all time, Jesus, and he like actually had him sweating. Like, that's a junior.
I'm so upset about that. I'm so upset he cut because he broke all of Jesus's junior world records, I think.
Junior records,
But go on.
No. I think we're in such a massive transition in the sport. We have to wait till it levels out again to where the gap is like appropriate. Because right now you have like 19 and 20, 21-year-olds like going like, hey, I'm coming, you know, like, and obviously there's always going to be those people in the sport, but right now it's so many of them, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I was going to ask, I forgot to ask on like the past section, but like when did you first lift weights? Like, how did you realize that you were strong, or when did you?
Like, when did I first lift weights at all, or when did I first like start like working out?
Everything, like
everything. So when I was like probably like 12 years old, I would do like pull-ups and push-ups every so often with my dad. When I had started at like 12 for wrestling, doing like push-ups and pull-ups, and then when I started lifting weights, I'd like maxed out on bench at like 14 in the wrestling weight room, and I was like 128, 130 pounds at the time, and I hit 225. That was like my first time like maxing out bench ever, and I had never really done any like real working sets, you know.
Wait, what age?
This was 14. So this is kilos. This is like 60 kilos was my body weight, around, maybe a little less, and then I benched 100 kilo.
Wow.
So I didn't start lifting weights then because I was wrestling. So it was like a lot of like just cardio and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that was how my wrestling program worked. After wrestling season, after my birthday, after I turned 15, so that was April 8th, I first started going to the gym, really, May. So I'd been 15 for a month, and I maxed out then, and I hit like only like 5 kilo, like 105. I squatted like, I think it was like, would have been 132 or something around there. And deadlifted like, what would that be? 155. So like nothing like, and this was also at like 60 kilos. So like good numbers, but nothing like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Within a month of just kind of doing whatever I was on a push-pull leg split, and I was drop setting bench every set. I was drop setting squat and deadlift too. Like, what? Just like, you know, kind of just throwing on whatever weight was there and just doing it. After a month, I hit on squat, it was 165. Bench, it would be 115. Deadlift, it was 185 within a month of that. And then by my first meet, which was in September, so around like 4 months after I started lifting, my training total, because that meet went horrible for obvious reasons, my first meet, I didn't warm up for squats. Didn't know the commands. It's just really bad. And I also maxed out like 2 days before the meet and lost like 7 pounds. Like tons of stuff factors like there. But in terms of training, I had put up like, it would have been 130 on bench. It would have been 225 on deadlift. And then I had put up on squat 190 or 192. And this was at this is at like 63, 64-ish. So like I had gained a lot on my total very quickly. And at that was at the time, those lifts other than the bench were all national record. Like the squat, the deadlift, and the total were national records for the time for team 1, which is 13 to 15. So I was like, man, why not? Let's break some national records. Let's go all the way, you know? Yeah. So I was like, okay, why not, you know, go for the national records? So I competed one more time. Then I went to teen nationals. Ended up totaling like 597.5 at like 66. And this was like high bar. I didn't know how to didn't really know how to deadlift yet. Didn't know how to bench. Like stupid factors. I didn't peak or taper for the meet. My pec was strained, all kinds of stuff. And I still put up that. And it was then that I was like, okay, maybe I should start taking this seriously. So I quit wrestling, quit swimming, committed fully to powerlifting. And that's when I was like, all right, let's get going. And then I did that winter meet in New York when I was 16, and I put up like a 5'11" dots at 16 while weighing in fully closed, and the squat and deadlift were fairly conservative. So it was like, all right, let's keep the ball rolling. And then I took a 2-year break from like a 1.5-year break from competing. Yeah. And then I came to the IPF. And the rest is history, right?
Yeah. I remember when I first saw your account. It was earlier this year, maybe late last year, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" Like, I just didn't understand it. But yeah, no, it's completely crazy. So we've got like 10 minutes left. If I just ask like a few like kind of quick fire questions, you know, those questions I put on the Instagram.
Yeah.
There are like a few questions. So first of all, which battle are you most excited for any weight class?
Oh, for any weight class for this next year.
Yeah.
Oof. I'd say I'm most excited for the 93s. Gavin Aiden's gonna be going to Open Nats. I'm really excited to see. I mean, I've lifted with him. He's my pal, I'd like to say. I've seen him work he puts in. I'm really excited to see what he does. And not to mention, it's just such a loaded weight class. Obviously, I'm excited for the 83s, but like I feel like for the 83s, it's almost an inevitability at this point that Bornstein's gonna like kind of like take the reins.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
what's the next
question?
Well, I think that just if you think like age and progress rise, it's like Ade and Joe Borenstein are most likely going to be the dominant 83s. But are you saying that you think Joe is going to accelerate kind of past Ade?
Past Ade? I wouldn't say that. I think in terms of like nationals, I think Borenstein is going to take the reins. The only reason I'm saying that is because Ade is probably pretty much at the same point as Joe Borenstein, but he's preparing to do it on the international platform. You know what I mean? Like, and he probably can do it, I think, on the international platform. Borenstein hasn't proven that yet. I think he will. But until that, like I can't say it's. I'm guaranteeing that Bornstein's going to beat Ade. Obviously, I'm going to root for Bornstein because like USA, he's my teammate pretty much, and I've known him for a decently long time before he was like huge, you know. And like I want to see him win, but obviously I'm not going to discredit Ade because he did it internationally, and he's going to be competing at Sheffield. Like.
Who's winning Sheffield? 83.
Who's winning Sheffield?
No, not 66s, 83s. Well, it's not as in just 83.
My bet's on Russ, honestly.
Okay.
Which is crazy, but I think he's made one. He's training lower body weight. 2, he's training more to comp standard. And 3, he wants that get back, man. He wants that, and he's been competing at a high level for so long. It's like, I don't know, man. I gotta put my bet on him because I mean, like, if he puts a meet day together, he's up there. Like 345 squat, he pulled 350 on dead, and he just benched 210. Like difficult, like it was difficult, but it wasn't. I think he had more in there, you know? Like, that's already, like, 905, I'm pretty sure, or something close to that. Like, that's a big total. He just has to put it together. And considering he has good coaches, he has experience, I think, and he's taking his training more seriously and his nutrition more seriously. Considering that, I'm trusting him to execute. That's just the way I view it.
Yeah. No, I'd probably agree. I would. I think like people were saying, Russ has been professional for a long time, like, but Ade and Durans are going to level up. But Russ had his whole business going until this year, so he's been able to just focus on primarily the 83s, and he just 100%. Wants it so badly. So yeah, I think he probably will win, but I wouldn't be surprised if anyone won.
Exactly. Like, it's so close, right?
Yeah. How long do you want to be in the sport as a competitor?
As long as I can.
Okay.
How long
do you think that'll be? How healthy is your body?
The only injury I've ever had is a pec strain.
Okay. Your back's not...
The beneficial... Yeah, this one. The beneficial thing about what I'm doing for my job, I work in physical therapy. I'm surrounded by people who can take care of my body and make sure I'm healthy. I'll have a nutritionist. So ideally, dude, I'd love to progress. I love to be like Sam Watt and still be in the opens and like when I'm like 54. Like, I'd love to. I don't think I can. Like, I look at my dad. He's the strong. Like, obviously, he didn't weight train like me when he was younger. Like, not to the extent I do. But he's progressing, and he's 54. So it's like,
does he compete?
Man, he doesn't compete. He lifts, but like at a decent level for 54. Like, it's the strongest he's been. He doesn't power lift train specifically. Like, he just benches, but he like puts up 265 for reps, and like the most he benches, like even in high school, the most, and he's the same weight as me. The most in high school he benched.
Wait. Oh wow. That's crazy.
And the most he benched in high school was like 2 plates. So it's like he's progressed.
Wow. Okay. Wait. Where are you like from?
Like in terms of like.
Well, actually, it would be interesting.
Like,
where in America are you from?
I'm in New Jersey.
Okay. Where Jesse James West and Anthony Mantello? Do you know them?
Yeah,
I used to watch them.
I haven't run into them, but. Yeah, that's where they're from.
But no, as in like, where's like your origin, ethnicity?
I'm mostly like
have you got any Eastern
Italian.
European?
Eastern Europe. I'm Italian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I have.
So it's probably
quarter Irish in me.
Okay. People are saying to get back on the YouTube. Are you going to start the YouTube again?
I have a microphone. I have a camera. I got a tripod. It's all set up. After this meet, we're gonna get the ball rolling for nationals prep. That's the goal.
So you're going to nationals?
Yes, age divisionals.
Okay.
Not open nats, not open nats.
Oh yeah. That would be a big announcement. But
Yeah.
So I guess what would be your one piece of advice for a young lifter coming up?
Keep pushing. If one thing's not working, try something new. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And overall, focus on the big picture. One of my biggest regrets was that for like the entire first year of my lifting, I literally maxed out like either every week or every month. So like, I guarantee you, if you ask any powerlifter if they would go back and change that, they would say yes. Like, because I just imagine how much progress I could have made if I like had actually been training like effectively and not just maxing out all the time. And it probably is like so much more than I've made. But like, that is my number one advice: is train smart, hard, and patient. Focus on the big picture.
There's some questions about your squat. How did you learn to squat that much, and what are your favorite cues?
My favorite cues. So when I started high bar, so squatting was pretty relatively simple. It was up and down, you know. But once I switched to low bar, the video I watched was Juggernaut Training Systems. They have a squat pillar video.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, and that video helped me a lot with learning how to low bar squat. My favorite cues are probably to crunch down when you're bracing. Keeps your spine neutral. I like to bend the bar over my back or squeeze my elbows together behind my back for back tightness. And then obviously I like to twist my feet into the floor, like externally rotate, like screw your feet into the floor. And then also just feeling the midfoot. So focusing on being balanced, keeping that midline. That's very important. That would help me. Or that's what helps me the most when I'm squatting. Otherwise, in general, I don't think much when I'm lifting anymore because it's cues. It's become natural because it's practice and habit. But those are what help me build those habits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are there any like kids younger than you that you're looking at and you're like, they could be like a challenger?
That are younger, like a challenger to me?
Yeah, to you. Maybe not in your weight class because I don't think there is anyone. But
no, not right now.
But maybe someone who, yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to still be looking at Jack Reynolds, Dylan Johnson, and Chase Gravitt, that trio, I'm never going to underestimate them. But this is coming wholeheartedly. This is not disrespectful. And this is how I am. This is my goal. My goal is to show how big the gap is, because I think it's bigger than most people realize. And I think I'm going to show that soon. Once I put it all together, I don't think anyone's ready. Now, that being said, if they are, and if they live up to that challenge, which I'm honestly, I have no idea if they can. And if they do, I am more than willing to battle. So I am not counting them out, but my goal is to be able to make myself a clear number one in that conversation.
Yeah. Well, I have to go now. However, I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate like the 2 hours of your time that you've given me. And like you said, like, I really, really like the fact that you're so like interactive with your fans. Like when I had like, I don't know, like 50 followers and I posted like my first video, you're one of the first people that was going and supporting me. And I really appreciate that. And it's going to you're going to receive that back because people really appreciate that. So I really appreciate it. And thank you very much. Do Do you have anyone you want to shout out or anything you want to say to conclude the episode?
I wanna shout out to my parents because there's no way I could do this without their support. They've helped pay for a lot of this stuff, and they've helped me become the man I am. So I really appreciate that from them, and I obviously would not be here today without them. I want to thank my competitors, my friends. Some of them are in the same category, both competitor and friends. I mean, really, that's my message, is that just like be thankful for everyone that's in your life, whether they're good or bad, or whether they made you upset or happy. They all shape who you are and who you're going to be, and never take that for granted. Life is a beautiful thing.
That's really nice. Well, thank you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and there'll be hopefully one every Saturday, but adios. Let me